Everybody, welcome back to Breakfast with Bob. My name is Bob Babbitt. We are at Challenge Daytona in the PTO 2020 Championship. We're brought to you by Captiva Spine, John Hall Chevrolet, USA Triathlon, Foundation Risk Partners, and the PTO, the Pro Triathletes Organization. Our next guest from the UK, Ruth Astle. Ruth, how are you?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Really nice to be out here. I've actually been out in Florida for the last 5 weeks.
Really?
Yep.
I need to acclimatize. I need to go to Florida. Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, it was really nice. And then all the Brits flew out a couple of days ago and brought the cold weather with them.
I was going to say, what the heck? It was like 80 last week, and now it's 40.
Yeah, it's freezing.
I know. So talk a little about getting into the sport. When did you finally get into the triathlon?
So I started triathlon, I must have been around 24. I was working for Lloyd's Banking Group at the time. They had a charity race with some spots. I was training for a marathon. I was pretty bored of just running.
Yes.
So gave the London Tri a go, really enjoyed it. Then I joined my local tri club and it kind of all spiraled from there. So did a lot of the age group races, then heard about competing for your country as an age grouper. So
yes.
I was out in Chicago in, I think it was 2015.
Yes, I was there.
Doing the standard distance race. Very quickly realised I was nowhere near fast enough to be competitive at the standard distance.
Yeah.
So moved up the distances to 70.3 and then heard everyone talking about Kona, this magical place. And
yes.
Thought I need to do an Ironman and try and get out there. So did my first Kona in 2017.
And how'd you do there?
I was third in my age group, so it was my second Ironman. My first Ironman in Lanzarote was a disaster. So
That is, people don't understand. I think Lanzarote is one of the toughest course.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're cycling uphill into the wind, right?
The whole way.
The whole way, right? And there's the island is crazy because every house is a white house with Lanzarote green shutters. If you got drunk and came home, every house is exactly the same. Right? How do you know where you live? That is a crazy island, and the run is brutal too.
Yeah, really tough. Really tough race. But I chose it because my strength's on the bike. So I didn't want to go and do one where there was just a big pack of people drafting around. And that kind of played off. But yeah, it definitely felt like we had a headwind going all the way up the west side of the island, and then as I turned to come back, the wind changed and I had a headwind all the way back as well. Well,
which gets you ready for Kona.
It does, yeah. Yes. Definitely good prep for Kona.
Yeah. So the Kona experience, how special was that?
That first year, you hear people talk about it, but I don't think you really understand quite what it's like until you get there. Actually having, I think especially if you go as an age grouper, there's kind of even more of the hype because you've got all of the best pros there and you're kind of walking down the street and someone comes past, you're like, oh my God, you're like my hero. So it is really amazing. And just as a place, being able to jump in the sea, swim with the dolphins and the turtles and enjoy the sunshine.
It's magical.
Oh,
it's just a magical place.
Amazing.
You're making me miss it. I can't. So you're a first-year pro.
Yes.
And you just went to Florida and finished fourth?
Yep.
How cool was that?
Yeah. To be honest, I think I'd got to the point of not thinking we were going to get any proper races this year.
Yeah.
Or, like Ironman distance races. And actually being able to come out, and it was a bit of effort trying to get an exemption to get into the US and work all that out. So we probably only knew we were going to get there maybe a couple of weeks before.
Yeah.
And I travelled out with Kat Matthews and we had our little Brit bubble going on. And yes, actually being able to race an Ironman was brilliant. Being able to then tick off my Kona slot for next year, obviously massive bonus.
Yes.
And being able to see Kat absolutely smash it is also amazing.
Yeah, she killed it.
Yeah, incredible.
And you're like, hey, only because of her training partner.
Obviously,
that the training partner brought her everything.
Yeah, no, to be honest, I think, especially within the Brit girls, we've got a really nice sort of camaraderie going on. And I think we all like seeing each other do well because it kind of helps inspire you to think, one day that could be me. What's
fascinating to me is I think in our sport, the reality is when you're racing against the course. And you're racing against, there's other people there, but they don't control how you do.
No.
The only person does is you. So when you're doing ITU racing, there's a lot of strategy.
Yeah.
You could say that the best person doesn't always win. It's the person who's has best tactically. when you're doing an Ironman race or a 70.3 race, it's you against the course, right? And you obviously like that.
I definitely like that. I think it's part of the beauty of it, that it's not necessarily who's the fastest, but it's a lot of the mental game, and kind of how do you deal with some of the setbacks, how do you keep pushing yourself on if something goes a bit wrong, because it's such a long day, there's probably going to be something that doesn't quite go right. So yeah, I really like that, and I think it's part of the kind of unknown and excitement of watching, or tracking an Ironman. You're probably not going to be watching it all the time, but because you never even, someone might have a 15-minute lead, and actually that can all change.
We've seen it go away in about a heartbeat. Now, for first-year pro, you're basically coming to the All-Star game, right? Your first-year pro, and usually you go to a race, even Florida, you'll have 10, 12, maybe 15 good pros.
Yeah.
Here, there's 15 good pros in the hotel lobby, right, every morning. You've got every hero you could have in the sport of triathlon, from Nicola Spirig on down, is here. And you're racing with them.
I know.
Here on the Daytona Speedway. Have you ridden on the Speedway yet?
Yeah, I've been out there a couple of times.
What do you think?
It's going to be so much fun on race day. Really excited for that. Mildly terrified about racing all of the best in the sport. I'm kind of hoping that I don't get lapped out from the swim.
What do you look at as your strength and weakness?
Swim is definitely my weakness.
Okay.
So as soon
There's
as that's
no good swimmers here. You'll be fine.
Oh, none at all. But yeah, the bike is my strength, so I'll be definitely hoping to kind of make back a bit of time on the bike, and then just hang on for the run.
Hey, what the hell?
Just see what happens.
It's $1.15 million at stake.
Yeah.
There's really no pressure at all.
Pressure.
You just have for a good time and have some fun. When you come to a race like this, and this is a sort of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, you can be intimidated by it, or you can just go, it's just another race. It's just they're going to swim, bike, run just like me. What's your attitude?
For me, there's no pressure. I mean, no one really knows who I am. It's my first year as a pro. I got a special invite, so it's not like I'm even on the rankings or have anything to worry about. So,
yes.
And because I'm usually towards the back coming out the swim, again, it's not like I'm at the front and people are going to be like, who's this?
Right.
So yeah, I feel like there's no pressure or no expectation either. So I can just go out there, really enjoy it, and hope that ends up in a good result. But if it doesn't, it's still a great experience. It's amazing to be out here.
And with Kona next October, and you've already qualified, are you thinking of Collins Cup as well?
There's like zero chance I'll make the Collins Cup team. Have you seen the European women?
I have seen the European, I know. Had to ask, yeah.
Yeah, obviously it'd be a dream to be good enough to be considered. But no, I'm more eyeing up, hopefully getting back to do Challenge Roth again.
Yes.
I did that last year.
How special is that?
Incredible.
Yeah.
And actually, I did it, the year that I did it, it was actually on my birthday, and every aid session I ran through, they were cheering, singing happy birthday to me. They knew, and it was just the most special race.
And there's that whole family atmosphere at Roth. With when you're climbing up Solar Hill and there's 50,000 people moving aside for you. There's something unique about that experience in our sport, you think?
Definitely. And I think even just having such good support around a bike course, that's really rare in an iron distance race. And, even in places like Kona, which obviously is magical in a different way, you don't really get much support on the bike course. So it's a very different feel. Whereas in Roth, kind of most villages you go through, they've set up with their beer tents and they're all having a jolly and cheering you on. So, you sort of take much more from the crowds. Yeah,
well, the crowd, especially during the run, when you have the beer mile and you've got a mile of drunk Germans cheering you on as you go through, and then you finish up in a stadium that didn't even exist 5 days before, that they build for 10,000 spectators to cheer you in.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any experience like that.
No, it's amazing.
Yeah. So leading into Kona, will you do another Ironman? Will you do a 70.3? What will you be doing?
I'll probably look to do a 70.3, but probably more than that, I'll be looking to try and go somewhere a bit warmer and kind of adapt a little bit before Kona.
Yes.
But it depends a little bit on what I'm doing with work by that point, because I'm still working.
What's your real work?
I work for Lloyd's Banking Group.
Okay.
At the moment I'm doing inclusion diversity, so it's very flexible. It's really good. I do 2 days a week. But yeah, at the moment we've got a policy that I'm not allowed to work from abroad. So
okay.
It makes it a bit difficult. So I've had to take this last 6 weeks as holiday, which,
what a bummer.
what a shame.
I love it. Well, thank you for taking time, Ruth.
Thank you.
Pleasure to get to meet you,
Yeah,
and good
you.
luck out there on this weekend.
Great, thanks very much.
Ruth Astle has been our guest. Again, Breakfast with Bob, Challenge Daytona PTO 2020 Championship. Hold on, everybody. We will be right